Hey everyone, well in this video I am changing out a hydraulic hose on the old Case 580K backhoe here. I blew out a hydraulic hose on the rear main mast boom here where the hoses all transfer from the boom over to the swing section. Fitting there's a hose that comes down and goes underneath, and it feeds around over into one of these on the opposite side, but they've got two banks of hoses, one on the left and one on the right. Well, right over here in the bottom, right where all the flexing is when you're working back and forth there, the one hose there for the bucket control there wasn't even a damage or wear spot anywhere there, just all suddenly developed a pinhole. What they do, these hoses are getting dry rotted, and these bank of hoses, like I say here, there's 4 on one side and 4 on the other, 8 in total, and they go up underneath over here into the back of the cab where your monoblock or your hydraulic controls are, or the control block or monoblock as they call it, I guess. Surprisingly, there wasn't a whole lot of oil that leaked out of here. I thought there would have been more. I think I got a drain pan and a pail, and between the two I've maybe got a pint of oil. It's kind of held up in the line like a vacuum, so I want to go ahead and, it's been open for a day and a half here while I went and got to town and got a new hose made yesterday. So today here I want to get this hose back on here, so I got to feed it through here. There's like a cutaway notch in the bottom of the casting of the swing tower there, and the hose kind of sits in that notch there, so I'll just leave the camera on here and go ahead and try and feed it on through. Now what makes this hard is these are actually half-inch hoses, and this is a 3/4 inch end on this end and 5/8 on the control block underneath. Now, why the different sizes, I don't know, but if somebody says, well, you should have a 5/8 hose inside of there, the casting in the boom is actually, or in this whole unit here, is the cutaway for the hoses is literally, you can only fit a 1/2 inch hose through there where it sits. You can kind of force this 3/4 inch fitting through another side opening, but where it rests in the guide, or where its original spot where it goes is actually molded. The casting is cut or molded for only a 1/2 inch hose. What I'm doing here is I'm putting a little bit of electrical tape, cheap electrical tape, over my threads of my fitting, so I don't booger up my, I don't damage the threads on the fitting. And also I'm just taping over the end here so that I don't get any dirt into my hose. That's the #1 concern for me, and second concern is, like I say, I don't want to damage the threads, so just put a little tape over it and try and push it through. This hasn't dripped or leaked anything, I'm not going to worry about it, so go ahead and try and push this hose through. It's going to get pinched where I got it there. Come on, you pain in the ass. There. My threads would have got banged up already by now, and it would have been full of old grease and dirt by now too. Now these are JIC ends on here. Extra tight quarters to get in. Okay, different field of view here. This is the control tower from inside the cab, and this is where I have to come in to get in with the wrench from the back top side of it to get into the monoblock to be able to get that fitting tightened back up. I can't do it from underneath or behind. I can reach in there with my arm and get it started, but got to come in from the top inside the cab of the tractor to do the rest of it. Luckily, there's a As you can see, this is the old 4-stick control with the 2 swing pedals. So no, this is not a joystick, this is a 4-stick. So anyways, here's the control block here under the control tower. That's my fitting here, and I got the wrench you can see here. Gotta go at it a 1/8 or 1/4 of a turn at a time, and you gotta keep turning the wrench. You can go so far, lift the wrench out, and then turn the wrench itself back, and then we can get another 1/8 or 1/4 of a turn. So you're gonna say, well, you should have been using a crow's foot wrench or some other kind of wrench. Yeah, I suppose there is special wrenches, but this is what I got, and this is what I can get done, and that's there. It's done. It's tightened and in place. So I'll take you back outside the tractor and show you now routing the hoses and putting them in their keeper clamps to keep them from getting caught and ripped off. Okay, well, here's the arse end view of the machine. Up and inside of there, here's where I was tightening this fitting here from, and it comes down, around, through the first keeper holder, hose minder, holder, whatever you want to call it. Routes through, comes around the corner to another squeeze block here that holds the hoses up and away from the pinch point here, the cylinders and the swing tower. And then, like I say, there's notches here you can see cut in the bottom of the casting, and that's where these this hose being on the bottom feeds down into a cut block over there, and then comes out over here in behind, and then back up over here. I haven't finished tightening down this fitting here yet. I got to do that, but left this loose so I could twist and turn the hose to manipulate it to get this end over here to where it needs to. Well, you got to be able to get that 90-degree fitting over the end of the port there and get your thread started. So you got to be able to manipulate the hose somewhat. So that end gets tightened first, and the other end over here gets tightened last. But I'll go ahead and put the camera on the tripod and try and show you here of me putting these hose keepers back in place and fighting with some of this to get the bolts started and stuff. You got these two-piece block here that there's the backer here that goes on one side, on the other side. Then you've got these long bolts that go through, and then it clamps it to the bracket that's welded to the frame of the machine here that keeps everything lined up, like I say, and keeps these hoses from getting pinched, cut, and caught and tore off the machine. So anyways, continue on here. There we go. Got that sorted. Now we will get this tightened up. Now this is a pain in the ass as well. Yes, I torque them down because you do not want them to leak. You don't want to over torque them and strip them, but you gotta get after them. Get them torqued down good. There we go. Now I just gotta finish putting this protective hose wrap crap back on here. I'll fight with that off camera and I'll show you here when I'm got it all wrapped up. Okay, all good. Got everything, like I say, tightened up and got my hose wrap back on. Ran ahead, started the machine, tested, put some pressure on the bucket, make sure that it got no leaks anywhere, so everything is good. And almost forgot, I got one last keeper right up here in the boom here. And that's the fun one to get in. That's this little bugger here. It's one of those zigzag brackets with the bolt heads that slip into two keeper slots in the back of the casting and the side of the boom there. Now, let's see if we can get this cruddy thing back in there, eh? Now, I don't know. I got this backed off all the way. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this in there or not. Oh boy. I don't know. I'll get it, but I'm not going to bore you to death with me wrestling with this. I got to go get a little pry bar or something here to manipulate these steel. There's steel lines inside the boom that run up the length of the boom, and there's a keeper here and there's another keeper further up, but the one further up is literally against the side of the cylinder. You got to take the cylinder out to get it out, and as it is already on this one, you pretty much cannot get this in here as such. Oh boy. Okay. I'm going to pause the camera and I got to go get, like I say, a little pry bar and force the lines into, there's keeper notches casted into the boom where the line sits, and then the head of the bolt, they got two notches where the head of the bolt slips up into there. It holds the captive bolt catch there, and then you got to try and thread the bolt in. So yeah, fun. So continue on here off camera, and then I'll bring you back for the final here when I get it to conquer that little next task here. Well, I got that hold down clip in there, but oh boy, talk about a fight to get that slipped in there. It's not tightened down yet. Just used a screwdriver here and kept prying at it to manipulating the lines around a little bit just to get those wiggle those bolts in there. But if I wouldn't have taken this clip out of here, technically you're not supposed to, I guess, take that out of there unless you got the cylinder out, but if I wouldn't have taken this out, I don't have enough room to get that in behind there. I needed a little bit of wiggle room to loosen up the lines, the steel lines, so that I could get to the fittings of the main hose, and even then, major issue. I need an open end to get in there, I think. No, I can get it, but holy moly, what a job. One of those bolts that runs hard when you try and run it with your finger, but when you put a wrench on it, then it doesn't want to behave itself. So, and the bolt jiggles around back and forth a little bit, so that much harder to but we're getting it. We're gaining a little bit here. Again, one of these 1/8 quarter turn deals at a time. And no, you can't get any kind of a ratchet head in there. You need a deep offset box end. Again, an appreciation for classic tools. This is an old stubby double box end 5/8, 9/16, and I've got actually the whole set from 7/16 up to 3/4. It's old Bonnie tool. Different companies, SK make them. Snap-on make these short stubbies, double box end. This one has the extra deep offset, so you can get into dropped recess access points. My dad had a whole set of these, and over the years he borrowed them out to different guys that needed different sizes, and of course none of them ever came back. All he had left was his 1/2 inch 9/16, and a couple of years before he passed away, he lost it. He literally had put it in his back pocket, and he sat down somewhere on the ground when he was working on something. I guess when he got up, it fell out of his pocket and he lost it. He searched for that thing up and down, high and low. This was his size of wrench. It was his favorite little box end wrench for doing these kind of jobs. And he says, I will never find another one like that ever again. He says he had bought that brand new in the late 1950s, I guess, that little set. And I know he missed the other sizes, and he was upset that people never brought stuff back. But that's what happens when you borrow your tools out. So my policy is I do not borrow my tools to anybody. In the meantime, a few years ago, thanks to online shopping like eBay, I found a couple in a part of a set, and then another individual one, and then another one. It took me a couple of years, but I put together my dad's original old Bonnie double offset box end wrench. So now I have what he originally had, and yes, as you can see, like for jobs like this, you end up using them considerably. I'm always reaching for them because they are a handy size to get in where you don't have much swing room, and you have to manipulate at, like I say, at 1/4 or 1/8 of a turn at a time in these little tight spots here, like you can see me doing here. And I almost got it here. There we go. They are just the right length. I know everybody has their favorites, but this was our favorite for us. You see, there's a lot of good tool brands out there. They all make variations of these. But this is what Dad originally had. It was his favorite, and I just did it, bought the original set like he had to put back together, and I enjoy using these wrenches just as much as he did. And not just enjoy them, they're handy as all get out. You need specialty tools, unfortunately, sometimes for doing these kind of things. So these jobs always require it if you're going to get in done and done. So glad for that. Machine's back together and ready to go whenever it's needed. Never know when you might need a machine, so it's always good to have it fully functioning order. I have a few other maintenance things to do on this machine, and I'll probably show you some video of that coming up here in the future. Anyways, I'd just like to say thanks everybody for stopping by once again and checking out another one of my videos, and we'll see you all on the next one.